High and low incident disabilities. My high incident disability is emotional and behavioral disorder. For this disorder, it was defined as a disability characterized by behavioral or emotional responses that are usually different from the appropriate age, culture, or ethnic norms, and it adversely affects educational performance. The differentiated instruction is all based on the functional behavioral assessment that is individualized to each student. So it implements the interventions that is affecting that one student, and then it is placed into the classroom. So this can look like maybe a student self-monitoring themselves, knowing when they are getting frustrated or angry, or maybe even just needing a break from the work. So this can maybe look like maybe going for a walk outside of the classroom, just taking a breather, going into the library, maybe taking a book and reading it. And then there's also modifications to the proximity of the peers and or teacher. So maybe moving the desk away from certain peers, or maybe not having the one-to-one with the teacher, or the opposite, maybe being paired with a certain peer or being closer with a teacher, one-to-one. And then peer support can look like having a buddy in the classroom, helping them with their daily schedule or daily assignments that they have to do. And then a teacher attention. So like I was saying before, this can be one-to-one support, maybe daily check-ins with a teacher. And then lastly, there can be modifications to assignments. So if a student needs maybe more questions for homework than others, they can have that, or the opposite. They could have maybe less assignments for homework due to their needs. The class pass is a behavioral intervention that I saw, and it's basically giving the student a short break from instruction for about 8 to 12 minutes, depending on the student, doing a non-disruptive task. So this usually is to promote increased work tolerance, and they are given the opportunity to turn in unused class passes to redeem awards at the end of the day. In order for this to work, teachers can do multiple things. They can remind students to use the strategy. If you notice that they are upset, you could say, do you want to use a class pass? And then you could also pair class passes with academic supports. You could periodically update the rewards and activities so that students have that incentive to want to not use as many class passes every day, which then leads to the last thing, which is fade the class passes over time. So if you notice a student is not using a certain amount of class passes every day for a long period of time, you can maybe talk to that student and say, we are going to reduce your number of class passes to blank. The low incident disability was health impairment. So health impairment is having limited strength, vitality, or alertness, including a heightened alertness to environmental stimuli that results in limited alertness with respect to educational environment. And this is usually due to chronic or acute health problems. Some ideas for differentiated instruction is using multiple media to illustrate different topics. So you can use diagrams, videos, storyboards, anything to just give a different representation of what the class is learning that helps students learn better. Right now, a huge thing is allowing students to join or attend school from home if they aren't able to come to school. This has looked like from Zoom. A lot of students have been working with teachers one-on-one, and getting their schoolwork done that way, or even sending assignments home. And another big one is minimizing distractions. So students can maybe get distracted with students next to them whispering or talking, or if there's music going on in the background. So just limiting those distractions. And then also facilitate managing information. So give them graphic organizers, give them checklists for guided notes, anything that will help them be able to see and organize things better. Behavioral intervention for this is classroom management, basically, meaning give the students a daily schedule that is predictable so they aren't frustrated or confused with what's going on, and they know their expectations throughout the day. And it also provides like structured opportunities for students to participate in social interactions. This can be huge for students with health impairments, because maybe they don't get a lot of interactions that you would hope they would. So allowing for that extra time is very beneficial. And some impacts. So students with disabilities are twice as likely to receive an out-of-school suspension, which is 13%, than students with disabilities, 6%. And for the health impairments, that includes ADHD and other medical conditions, which makes up approximately 16% of all students with disabilities. And emotional disturbance includes disorders such as anxiety disorder, bipolar, depression, and that makes up 5% of all students with disabilities. So it's a huge impact in the classroom, and we as teachers definitely need to be aware of what's going on and think about it when we're planning our classroom environment and what we want it to look like. Some technology supports for emotional behavioral disorder. There is behavioral intervention planner for the administrative portion. That could look like having a layout of what to expect in the future. So this can be provided for the administrative, the families, the student can even know about it, and the teacher. So it's all aligned and everyone knows exactly what is going to be happening to provide the supports and interventions that the student needs. And then instructional can be talk lights. So this will check for sound volumes in the classroom. I know a lot of times loud noises or having too much stimulation can really affect a student's behavior. So having that talk light can be not only for the teacher to check, but also for the students to reflect on as well. And then for health impairments, administrative can be a medical card. So this can be provided to the student to have on them. The teachers can have it in their classroom. This can be in the nurse office, in the main office, and this could even be given to substitutes that come into the classroom so that everyone is aware what to expect, what to do if something were to happen. And then instructional would be voice recognition software. This can be very helpful for students that may have a hard time writing or don't have a way to write, so they can talk into their device for everything, either writing for English, writing for fun, anything like that. And some advocacy groups, so emotional and behavioral, there's these links here. Each link has names, numbers. Anytime that you can go on these websites, you can reach out to them, and there's 24/7 support There's personal stories, personal messages on these websites that you can go to. Some of them even have information about how to go about teaching students with special needs. And that can be very helpful for teachers. And these are my citations.